Hi, I'm Tim Meager with Vanguard Hospitality with Maury's Steakhouse, Grill 26 and Minerva's downtown. Today we wanted to showcase one of our friends who opened a restaurant and is participating in the local food scene. And it's somebody we think you should get to know.
Hello, my name is Marcella Salas. I am one of the co-founders and owner of BibiSol alongside my mother, Patricia, and my fiance, Chris Nelson. We are a small batch salsa company along with bringing Nixtamal to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We specialize in small batch salsas here in downtown Sioux Falls. Along with recently, we opened up a restaurant here, and we are bringing heirloom corn variety from Mexico, cooking it, soaking and grinding it to make our own tortillas and other masa products. And we have really strong partnerships with local producers.
Tell me about the journey for local producers. Like, how has that added value to what it is you're creating?
I think as we continue to see food evolve in like larger cities, I think as restaurateurs, as owners of businesses, we want to make sure that we're not only bringing in product. I mean, we don't like know exactly where it's coming from with the partnerships that we have, maybe with like U.S. Foods or other suppliers like that. And so when we have smaller producers who are bringing such valuable and important products to this marketplace, how can we, lift them up and support them? And so when I say strong partnerships, I mean, we're getting our beef locally from Esseline, South Dakota, and it's a grass-fed local beef, and we're super proud to have that partnership because not only when our customers come in, they're choosing to support us, but they choose to support a local community. And where else should your money go besides, other restaurants or businesses that are supporting local?
Yeah, it has a huge ripple effect when a guest comes in and buys something off the menu and they're buying from your family, but then this has this ripple effect of buying from the families that you're supporting, and it's a huge interconnected community that we're kind of all working to create together.
Right.
So it's you and your mom in this partnership, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the evolution from cooking together and then how you ended up here at this restaurant.
Yeah, so the evolution of Salas Salsas, we actually started our salsa company the summer of 2020. And we started with a couple of salsas, and originally it was so I could afford to go fly. So I came to South Dakota to become a pilot. Beyond that, I was having trouble finding funding for my schooling. And so my mom was like, well, I want to hear you stop complaining about it and let's start doing something about it. And so, I come from a line of very strong women who are, very, very much doers. Mm-hmm. And even like, so my grandmother, she never learned how to read or write, but she learned every recipe. She could recall every recipe that she'd ever learned. And so to be here, to be able to learn something new every day, and then also like create something that didn't exist before and that also has so much meaning too, has been such a privilege. I think when it comes to business, like if you're not doing more to, uplift your community, then like you're just in it for the profit, right? Mm-hmm. But then like what kind of fulfillment do you get out of it? And so coming from a line of strong women, I'm like, well, strong women are the people who create the love in a community. Like those are the people that uphold it. And so it's been a privilege to be able to do this with my mom, who when we came to the United States, like all she did was clean. And so like now she's a business owner, not only of one business, but of two. And she has a restaurant that she never thought she would have. And so it's very much a privilege to do this, to come from that line of women, but also to uplift myself, uplift my mom, and then also just uplift the memory of like my grandmother and my great grandmother and all the matriarchs that come before me, because I think there's no meaning behind it otherwise.
Yeah, it's like you create this large family almost. To me, it starts with the relationship. How do you both see the world? Mm-hmm. And it becomes much more than that, which was a side of partnerships that I didn't really see coming. Like how deep you become being interdependent. Also, when they care about the food that what they're producing and then selling that to you, they filter out and make sure you get the best possible everything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then we don't have to evaluate that. We can just trust that because we're all working in this together. And the guest at the end of the day gets the best tasting product that you can bring to the table, mm-hmm. which is exciting.
It is so exciting. And I think, people like want to make quick money. They get into the restaurant or the food industry, but then like where is the intention behind it? And so our intention is really like in the ingredients and like in the process, and it's a lot of very minimal process too, because we're wanting to make sure that everything that we're doing is thoughtful, it's meticulous, and it has like true intention. And I think that's the difference, is a lot of people don't understand that, when they choose to support somebody that supports other businesses like locally, they're doing a lot more for their community.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us different. And, you, I'm sure, have a lot of loyal customers as well who like see that quality and see the product that you're putting out there and want to come back because of that. And so just since opening in July, like we've had a lot of success with, our customers do come back and they see the quality, they see the love, and they see myself, my mom, and my fiance out here, like, hey, how's your food? Everything tasting good. And so that that very much like centers around like the
personal
love and,
connection.
right?
Yeah.
And that connection within community has been so
So, a couple more things before we head back to the kitchen. So you talked, or you do the process of nixtamalization here, and you use heirloom corn. Can you give us a brief overview of the difference between heirloom and GMO, and what the feedback has been from your customers?
Yeah. So the standard of corn has been for a long time like product that is genetically modified. And so yes, that helps, consumers maybe like cut down on the cost, but at the end of the day, like you have a product that is not made naturally. And then so we have had a lot of people who come in that like are not able to eat corn, and then they come in and they're like, oh, this is a non-GMO heirloom corn variety. Like we source our corn like thoughtfully through Hacienda. And so with the corn that we're getting in, we trust that it's non-GMO, that we're like, grinding a product that is truly like as it should be. When we take our corn, we cook it and we add cal, or calcium hydroxide, and what that does is it helps the whole nixtamalization process. And so it helps soften the pericarp of the corn. It helps the water permeate into the starches of the corn, and then so that allows us to the next day grind it, and then the product that we get is this masa or dough that we use to present in different ways. So we take that masa, we press it, and then we cook it on our plancha. It becomes a tortilla. And then when we put our protein, it becomes a taco. If we are making an empanada, we press it, we fill it, we pinch it, we fry it, but it's that same masa, that same dough.
Yeah.
And a lot of the corn that we use here is a blue conico variety, which is a little bit more earthy. It has that like beautiful blue color.
I love that. Yeah.
And a lot of people that come in that have issues maybe digesting like tortillas that they get at the store, or even like sweet corn during the summer, they don't usually have that issue with our tortillas, because it's such a like clean product that we're serving.
In my own personal experience, when I have a nixtamalized like tortilla, it kind of redefines what I thought tortillas taste like, because it's so, the freshness, it's almost indescribable how it changes everything.
Yes.
And it allows you to put less on things that are less in a dish, because each ingredient then will speak to it. It's satiating in a different way. What has been some of the feedback from your guests about what they appreciate about what you're doing?
I've had guests come in that say this is the best taco I've had in the Midwest. I have guests come in that say I've never had a tortilla like this before. And as a Mexican, and like growing up part of my life in Mexico, and then also like going back pretty often, that's the one thing that every time I look forward to going to Mexico is like having a fresh nixtamal tortilla, put a little salt on it, you roll it up, and that's like, that was what I grew up eating. And so awesome. Like that's one of my favorite memories. And so I'm like, how can we do that here in South Dakota? How can we give that same experience to people of like a fresh tortilla that is completely different than anything they've tried here? So we're ready to knock out Mission Tortillas. And
I love that.
Well, Tim, welcome to the kitchen. Welcome back here. So this kitchen, we are making all of our products here in BibiSol, and then also it is a shared kitchen with our Salas Salsas company. So all of our salsas, all of our tortillas, all of our products come from this one kitchen.
Awesome.
And I wanted to talk to you today about some of the equipment that we use. So we use a molinito, and that molino is a grinder. So it helps us grind our corn after it's gone through the cooking process. We use these volcanic stone grinders here. So it allows for the corn to enter between them. And then these two stones are grinding. So that way, at the end of the process, we have a dough or a masa that we use to make a tortilla. The interesting thing about the process of nixtamal is that calcium hydroxide that we use, our ancestors used to use wood ash before. And so
Okay.
there's different ways to achieve that alkalinity to be able to have the corn cook. And so, like I said, that pericarp becomes softened, but also gelatinous too. And so because it becomes gelatinous, once it's ground up, and we have a mixing process afterwards. But the gelatin with the carb, like it all becomes this like beautiful dough that we end up just pressing. And then that dough, like I said, is made fresh every day. And then we typically use a blue conico corn. And we hand press all of our tortillas, all of our masa products. And so, and that just helps us like serve a fresher product. I think most people are used to tortillas that come from like a tortilla factory, which they're all pretty standard. They're the same size. But what's different about our tortillas is you'll see a little bit of like some burnt edges and maybe
Love
not
that.
all of them are the same shape.
Yep.
But like that's what makes it rustic and traditional. And when we go to press our tortilla and remove it from our plastic, we go to put it on our plancha.
Okay.
And then this first cook is going to be really important because what we're doing is we're creating a crust on one side. And if we don't have a crust on one side that is good enough, it doesn't trap the moisture inside of it to have it puff up like a good tortilla. So, we ready to go to the plancha?
Yeah, I'm completely nerding out on this.
So we have our tortilla working there, and like I said, we're waiting to see. So some of the edges are starting to cook over here.
So this first process is incredibly important right here.
Yeah, the first cook is incredibly important. Like I said, some of them don't look the same. They're a little bit irregular. You have a little bit of the charring in there, which if you get a tortilla from the store, you're not going to get that charring.
And I think foodies are starting to really appreciate when you talk about like inconsistencies, not in a bad way, but it shows the fact that this was touched by hand, and it lends to that intentional process.
Yeah, so we're getting a little puffing here. And every time I make a tortilla, I'm always analyzing too. I'm like, what went wrong? What didn't go wrong? So we did have a little bit of puffing up there, which is good. So now that it puffed up though, that's what our tortilla looks like. And then a really important part of like after we make our tortilla is we need it to steam. And so that steam is going to be really important to make sure that we have a malleable and pliable tortilla. And so we're just going to put it in here just for a little bit to steam up. Because if we could put our protein on it now, but once it's steaming, it just becomes a little bit more pliable. And then we make sure that tortilla isn't going to fall apart when our customer goes to eat their taco. Because that's about the saddest thing that'll ever happen to you.
Absolutely. So we can actually visually see now what your grandmother has taught your mom, and it's being passed down. And all of us are getting to experience all of that heritage, the thought process, the commitment to standard in this taco now that you've created. So there's a lot happening that is unsaid when we're going to like eat this and put it in our bodies.
Yeah, and people like when they come in, they don't quite exactly know what that process looks like.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work. Like, how easy would it be to save on like payroll and save on ingredient costs if we just bought our tortillas already pre-made? But it's like, but there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between like a fresh tortilla and like something you just buy pre-made. I mean, there's like good tortillas that exist out there, but I think this process just makes it a little bit more like a hug. So this is what it would look like if you were to order 3 pork belly tacos from us. Fresh tortillas, cotija, and that pork belly. And then we pair it with our mango habanero salsa. That little bit of sweetness just goes really well with the pork.
For those who find ketchup spicy, where would this be on the spectrum? Medium?
I'd say probably a medium, yeah. It's hard for me because if you ever ask a Mexican, like, is this spicy? They're going to lie to you. Like,
and watch you
If
suffer.
it's spicy, I'm like, oh, no. But yes, I would say this is like a medium.
Okay.
If you find ketchup spicy, it might be like a medium hot. But
Got it.
But it's got a good sweetness, so I don't think it'll be too overpowering. Your taco's always going to stand up straight like this. Your head is going to tilt.
Got you.
Always tilt. And then,
Modify your body to the...
Bend it to the will of the taco.
I love it. This taco wills me forward. Yeah. It's a bit overwhelming how much flavor is in that. Is this the one you get the most comments on best taco ever?
I feel like that one and our beef, like everyone just loves our beef, you know, rightfully so. Another really popular dish that we serve here is our ceviche tostada. We make our tostadas in house, and so they won't fall apart on you. We do a shrimp and rockfish ceviche topped with our salsa macha, little toasted sesame oil, a chipotle aioli, and so it's gonna have that heat, the nice brightness of the citrus when it cooks as well. So this is our sope. It's that like thicker masa tortilla, and it's hand shaped with the raised edges. We do a little bit of black bean on the bottom, your choice of protein, and so we have our beef barbacoa here. Topped with some crema, some cotija, some of our curtido or our pickle, so radish, and then onion, cilantro, and some of our micros.
Beautiful. So, any of the guests who haven't been here yet, why don't you tell us all what your hours are and how to get to your location?
Yeah, so we are in downtown Sioux Falls. We're at 219 South Phillips Avenue in the Carpenter Building, and you can park anywhere downtown. So, but we are open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 8 p.m. And then on Sunday we do brunch 10 to 2.